When my children were in middle school, the school hosted a 1950s-style sock hop for families. While we were bebopping to Elvis and Buddy Holly, my 14-year-old daughter pointed to the vinyl albums that were on the wall for decoration and said, "Look, Dad, there's a big CD." Now, my daughter had never seen a vinyl album before, but how many of today's 14-year-olds have never seen a CD before? In 1964, Bob Dylan issued one of those vinyl records entitled, "The Times They Are A-Changin'." If Dylan thought that change was happening at a fast pace a half-century ago, his message is even more urgent today. As Dylan sang, "Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown. Then you better start swimming, or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing." For 5 centuries, encyclopedias sat on a shelf. Then in 1993, Microsoft replaced traditional encyclopedias with Encarta on a CD. I was excited not just to read about Neil Armstrong taking one giant leap for mankind, but being able to watch the embedded video and seeing him do so. But in 2009, Microsoft closed the Encarta division. It had been replaced by Wikipedia, founded in 2001. Wikipedia was eclipsed by Siri, launched in 2010, followed by Alexa from Amazon in 2014, and Google Assistant in 2016. If you think about it, encyclopedias lasted in book form for 500 years. Encarta lasted for 15 years. Wikipedia held dominance for 9 years before Siri, which only remained unchallenged for 4 years. The times, they are a-changing and at an ever faster pace. That is why we here at UND are so focused on cultivating your critical thinking skills in order to enable you to adapt to change. Those skills will be put to a test as you enter this next phase of your life. I was speaking with a group of honors students earlier this week, and one observed that he was hesitant to go into accounting. He said that he had done his tax return in 15 minutes with a software package and wondered whether someday accountants would be automated. He exhibited a blossoming of critical thinking, but I encouraged him to take it a step further and appreciate that in a digital world, those who understand data, like skilled accountants, are likely to remain in very high demand, even though they're going to have to evolve their skill sets, and even if it's possible that bookkeeping becomes extinct. I would still bet on a UND accounting degree. But how are these changes going to impact the career paths each of you have chosen? Let's focus on 2030, a little more than a decade from now. You will still be considered young, except by your children. Moore's law of computing, that computing power doubles every 2 years, is in its 6th decade of coming true. If that continues until 2030, the amount of computing power on your iPhone or whatever replaces it by then will be 64 times greater than it is today. And in 2040, it'll be 2,000 times more. McKinsey, a world-renowned management consulting firm, predicts that by that year 2030, over half of the work activities typically performed by jobs filled by high school graduates, will be automated. That 44% of those skills performed by associate's degrees will be automated, and 22% of those conducted by graduates with a bachelor's degree. McKinsey predicts that the number of jobs requiring an associate's degree will decline slightly between now and 2030. The good news for you is that they're predicting that the demand for people with a bachelor's degree are going to be going up 6 to 12%, and also graduate degrees will be going up 9 to 11%. Yet your skills will only be in demand if you do what college grads are trained to do and what Dylan advises: to keep on swimming, or you'll sink like a stone. Eric Hoffer offered, in times of change, Learners inherit the earth, while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists. With your college degree, you qualify as learned. But as a UND alum, you are prepared to be a leader in action. You are experienced at being a learner. So keep on learning, keep on swimming. Stay involved in your professional associations. Prepare for changes in advance. Keep your credentials updated. The bend in the road is not the end of the road unless you refuse to take the turn. The content you learned at UND has prepared you for your next role. But as time rolls forward, your success will depend on applying your critical thinking, on being prepared to ride the waves of change rather than to be washed up by them. Better yet, make us UND proud and unleash a few waves yourself that others will have to surf. UND graduates of 2018, embrace change, be good at change, be great at learning, be the leaders in action you are meant to be. Congratulations.